Derbyites, I'm here with Managing Editor of Gold Derby, Chris Beachum. I'm Senior Editor, Rob Licuria. Mate, it's always a pleasure to get you and I together on these slugfests. It's like old times, isn't it?
It is. You know, we did interviews in Slugfest way before there was really an official Gold Derby like there is now, when it was just a small little Tom O'Neill company. And then we got off doing other things, and we don't get together, just the two of us, very often.
Yeah, so it's always a pleasure to get together and do these. So we are going to tackle quite a few categories today. Right now, we're looking at the comedy actress category, and this one's incredibly exciting, which there's a really good reason for that, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let me just rattle off the nominees. So Pamela Adlon for Better Things, Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Allison Janney for Mom, Issa for Insecure, Tracee Ellis Ross for Blackish, and Lily Tomlin for Grace and Frankie. Fantastic lineup, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. But I'm not fretting too much over this category. There are some that I don't know what to do, and I keep changing my mind every day. But this one, it's Rachel Brosnahan all the way. She just fits every single criteria you'd be looking for, and I'm just not going to think too much about it.
Okay, well, I am always trying to be a little bit more fair with my, my assessment of these categories, but I think you're kind of right. I think Rachel Brosnahan absolutely has the edge. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel did way better than even I expected. We knew it was going to be a big one at the Emmys, but it really, really performed quite well, and the whole show hinges on her really beautiful performance in this show, doesn't it?
It does, and they love, whether it's Oscars or Emmys, they love show business. They love programs at the Emmys about show business over the years. And here you've got, it fits everything. I mean, you've got a stand-up comedian that's a woman, which was hardly unheard of in the 1950s. Plus, you've got all the production values of it being a period piece, and it's set in New York. And she gets to do stuff on stage. She gets the family drama. She gets the ex-husband. I mean, it's just everything you could want. And it's not like she's a newcomer to the Emmys. She was a nominee for House of Cards.
That's right. So really, if she doesn't win, it would be a really huge shock on Emmy night. What I love about this category, and the circumstances are a little sad because Julia Louis-Dreyfus is not here, given that Veep did not air during the eligibility period. But it hasn't been since 2011, when Melissa McCarthy won for Mike and Molly, that we have seen a different winner in this category, because Julia, the queen of the Emmys, has won so many times since 2012. We are now going to see a new winner, most likely Rachel Brosnahan, but there are some other people in this category, as you well know, who are Emmy juggernauts, and I'm really
they shouldn't give up hope. They should not give up hope. I'm not saying it from that perspective, and we see surprises all the time. I can't be worried about every single category. I've got to have a handful that I'm just pretty sold on. Let me say this about Julia, though. Lorne Michaels, if somebody lets you see this, or NBC, anybody at NBC, you would have one of the greatest moments in the history of the Emmys if you would let Julia Louis-Dreyfus present this category.
Oh,
she could come out and say, I've won 6 years in a row. I'm proud to present this to somebody else, but whoever gets it, I'm coming after you next year. I mean, she could just have a good time with it. And it would be such an honor for the person that gets it to get it from her.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it would just be so lovely to see her on stage, given what she has been through over the last year or so. I think it would be an incredibly emotional moment. So I'm really hoping we see her. I'm going to miss not seeing her at the Emmys. I'm such a massive fan of hers. But given that she's not in the category this year and Rachel Brosnahan's out in front, I do think that we always have to keep an eye on Allison Janney. She's won 1,000 Emmys. Although Mom is not necessarily a big player at the Emmys like Mrs. Maisel is, Allison Janney, again, nominated here. It's almost like a fait accompli that she gets nominated every year now, and she could certainly pull this one off if there was going to be a shock in the category.
Well, we have seen over the years, no matter what the award show, people can win awards just on sheer momentum from different fields. Of course, Allison just won the Oscar, the Globe, the SAG Award, the BAFTA. They may just still be in a giving mood to her. And if she wins, she moves into a tie with Julia and Cloris Leachman for the most acting wins ever. So let's not forget that. She's sitting on 7, and she could tie them at 8. I feel like, not that we're talking about supporting right now, but I think Laurie Metcalf got sort of a surprising Tony Award this summer off of the fact that she had such a long run in the Oscar season, and people still were loving Lady Bird. So those things can help.
Absolutely. So I think, plus I just think it's so cool that we have Laurie Metcalf and Allison Janney at the Emmys again, just like they were at the Oscars a few months ago. And
they present together.
Yeah, that would be wonderful as well. Let's see if we can make that happen. But given those two are the juggernauts in the category, we do have, for me, one of my personal favorite nominees this year is Issa Rae in Insecure, because she missed out last year when a lot of people thought she would be nominated for the first season of Insecure. And for her to make it through for her second season is quite, a great achievement for her, and it's wonderful to see her nominated. I would absolutely love to see her win. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm very, very happy to see a nominee like that, something a little different in the category.
Well, with her and Pamela Adlon, you've got two people that are the driving forces behind their shows. And that's, we talked about this in the other Slugfest, but that's, similar to Donald Glover and Bill Hader and others over the years that we've seen win. Aziz Ansari's been winning, not this year, but in previous years for writing. And so did Louis C.K. And people that are considered to be the main force behind their shows can win other categories.
Absolutely. So that being said, I don't think either of them are probably going to win. Pamela Adlon, she makes it here for the second year in a row. Really impressive. This is not an easy category to break into. There's a lot of excellent female comedic performances on TV these days. That being said as well, I'm very happy to see Tracee Ellis Ross make it back again. So she keeps getting nominated. She hasn't won yet. She's won a Golden Globe. As we said in the Comedy Actor Slugfest, I don't think Blackish has enough heat at the moment for her to probably pull this one off. It's very great, though, to see her in the category.
And Lily Tomlin, we haven't mentioned, but talk about an Emmy favorite. I don't remember the exact number, but she has somewhere around 7, I think, Emmys. All of them are for writing and producing. The only time she's won one, and I guess you could call it performing, was narration on a documentary. She's never really won one for acting, and that's kind of odd since she's been on television since the 60s.
That's right. She has 25 nominations and 6 wins. That's incredible. She's a legend. She's a film and TV stage, everything. Just an all-round legend. It's great to see her in the category for Grace and Frankie. Again, though, probably not likely that she's going to win this one. But
it seems to be the only nomination for Grace and Frankie, other than I think costume design, and that they just don't seem to be watching. But I will say this: we did some shout-outs in the other video, or we did one shout-out to about Julia earlier in this one. Lily Tomlin Academy Committee members belongs in the TV Hall of Fame. Put her in there. Just that's ridiculous that she's not in there. Marcus and I went to the ceremony last November, and she's on the board of governors. She was one of the presenters for the SNL cast, and yet you're making her still wait to get into the Hall of Fame. She needs to be in there right away.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. Well, thank you, Chris. I think we've probably covered this category. I don't think there's much more to say. I think Rachel Brosnahan should probably get her Emmy speech ready, but stranger things have happened. We may see a surprise winner. And don't forget, everybody, to be putting in your predictions at Gold Derby. We've put ours in. You guys need to put yours in as well. And let's see who wins at the prediction center after Emmy night.